What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Before I start this video, I want you to take a look very closely at the picture that I have in front of you. The moment you look at it any further, you'll start to see and realize that there might be something that is within this particular move that is more than likely going to be made with Xbox. Xbox has recently spent close to $80+ billion on investing and acquiring publishers. They just swallowed two whole publishers that are pretty successful and influential in the gaming scene. These are very strategic acquisitions. There were no small fees attached to basically getting them in time and in money. But now that these acquisitions have been made, it appeared to some that all Xbox was going to do was focus on just making exclusivity a thing. If you've been watching my last few videos, I've been saying how that move would have stymied Xbox's advancement and pretty much, in my opinion, reduced the impact of their goal, which is to get their games everywhere. At the same time, some people misconstrue this to mean Xbox is more than likely going to be a third-party publisher if they don't somehow follow Sony's old model and Nintendo's archaic models, which is to pretty much leverage your hardware as probably the only and best place to play your games. Ladies and gentlemen, the market is shifting. If you've not tapped into this reality yet, I feel sorry for you, because everything that we have known in regard to how gaming works has already changed like 5 years ago. We're just seeing it play out, and then when the reality dawns, I think a lot of people are going to have their jaws hit the ground, because the old guard still wants everything to be the exact same way. Another tweet here is very indicative of this, because I thought this was quite interesting. This person said, "As an Xbox fan, I'd love it if Sarah Bond and Xbox, Phil Spencer, would address the third-party rumors and keep popping up. The fact they keep popping up and folks are still unsure as to what brand direction is reflects a communication problem. Information and open dialogue go a long way." I agree with the last statement, but the very first few statements I say, go to the stock market and buy some shares, and maybe they'll address your concerns. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but I'm just trying to emphasize the reality of what it is that we're doing here, because it seems like everybody is kind of lost. Because some of you think that the $69 billion for Activision and the $7 billion from Bethesda all came from profits that Xbox made. No, it came from profits and finances that Microsoft overall had that it infused into the Xbox ecosystem, which means a lot of caveats and successful methodologies that Microsoft has used may more than likely be applied to Xbox. And if this all is true, then they will be applied to Xbox, because that's what we're going to be seeing. Take, for instance, Microsoft Office. It's available on Mac, it's available on Windows, and it's available on cloud now. So you're going to be seeing this move happen with even their games. If they're going to move to the Switch, they already have the cloud infrastructure, and they're going to be going from there. In fact, I want to go ahead and actually make a very bold claim that we might be seeing the Elder Scrolls game on the PlayStation console. You see, this is not something anybody is talking about, because I'm sure they don't want to, sit with the reality. Because let me tell you something. All of these people that are on Twitter and all these people that are on YouTube, the reality and the truth is, as much respect as I have for them, especially the ones that are trying their best to be as, objective as possible, is their brands and their, social media presence and whatever benefits they get from it, whether it be financial or whatever it is based on the brand and its exclusivity compared to the other companies like PlayStation and Nintendo. The moment Xbox finally shows its full hand, which I already think I see, there probably not going to be any unique measures to actually be an Xbox-centric YouTuber or, account or whatever it is. So that's one aspect. Now, I'm not saying that this is why they're actually wanting Xbox to come out and, pretty much state their position. I'm just saying that the unique aspect of, a lot of what it is they're doing is going to go away. But in reality, that is not something that should be, seen. But there are some reasonable people that are here in the community. Right underneath this post, "Make money and mind your business." He says, "I'm an Xbox gamer, and man, folks are tripping." So what? It's one game. You don't spend $70 billion on anything and not make changes to make that money back. You see, The reason I'm even making this video is because I was responding to this gentleman here. Nigel, shout out to you. You're an FGC player. So, hey, all means, man. I saw your profile and I was like, man, I'm going to give you, the utmost attention in regard to how I answer this and, respect you for engaging in a conversation, very, very wonderful conversation we've been having. He asked me he said something. He said, I bet if y'all will stop saying you only play a game if it's on Game Pass, your games wouldn't be getting passed around, to make profit. So this is basically, kind of a clap back to Xbox players who almost not, and this is not everybody, but there are some people who only want to play a game when it's on Game Pass. There really is nothing wrong with that, but sometimes you got to understand that those measures will have their cost in regard to how they shortchange, developers on potential sales. But that's a whole different conversation. So I said, well, in quote, your games are being passed around for profit too. PlayStation fans don't even play their exclusives as much as they do Xbox, Epic, and EA live services. This is the fact. Fortnite, FIFA, Call of Duty. These all belong to Epic, EA, and Xbox respectively. And I said this is not a flex. And then he asked me a simple question. Where's the best place to play an Xbox first-party game? And I said simple answer, wherever suits you. Now, if you're asking which version of an Xbox first-party game is the best, the answer is PC. And the answer is the same with PlayStation. I mean, I clipped 2 different Digital Foundry conclusions from their, PC versions of PlayStation games, and both of them say that they are the best versions to play. So that's basically the aspect of things. And then they replied and said, well, it seems like the best place to play a game is anywhere other than the Xbox platform. And I said, well, hold up. It's tempting to want to clown Xbox. But why is nobody looking at how disruptive Xbox is and how much it's even put Sony in a position where they need to actually expand their business? Because Microsoft can now deliver their games, impactful games, by the way, almost anywhere they choose, hence improving and increasing the possibility of more software sales. Elder Scrolls, in my opinion, is going to drop on the PlayStation because this would absolutely fracture the hold that PlayStation has on the market for the most part, because it's a monetary gains equation more than anything else. That's number one. Number two, this is going to put Xbox on the map and much more closer in line with some of the biggest players out there, seeing that they have Activision in their pockets, they have PlayStation, and are now able to leverage every aspect of every significant title that they bring out. Let me explain this very clearly. Let's do the math to run it. Starfield being the test run, brand new IP, name recognition, possibly Bethesda behind it. But Elder Scrolls 6, everybody knows that game is going to quickly sell 10 million copies. Within 60 to 70 days, you're going to be seeing 10 million copies significantly as the main and base metric. The very next thing now is, what if that game showed up on the PlayStation at the very same time? That whole metric eventually destroys everything. Because if you can add an extra 4 or 5 million copies from PlayStation in the first 2 months, you've absolutely taken game sales to a whole different level. Not only do you take the game sales to a whole different level, you take subscription sales to a whole different level. Ladies and gentlemen, Hi-Fi Rush is if you want brand loyalty and brand, feel goodness, Hi-Fi Rush is the least of your worries. In fact, your worries are about to be not necessarily, alleviated, but annihilated, because this is going to happen. The reason it's going to happen is because math and economics demand that it happens. That's why I said in the first part of this video, the person saying you would like clarity, I said, go buy some stocks. And then they'll probably, address your concerns. Because 5 million copies of a video game at launch is $300 million. Did you just hear what I said? 5 million copies at launch is $300 million. 5 million copies at launch at full price, which on the console side is actually now no longer $60, but $70, is $350 million. Now, people will say, but 30% is going to go to PlayStation. I agree. But that still leaves Xbox with over $240 million at launch, extra on top of what it is that they're going to keep 100% on the Xbox platform, 100% on their Xbox PC platform, and then possibly another 100 million that goes to Steam for their sales. So for $200 million, that is basically coming out of profits anyways, that you're going to basically roll over into your tax expenses. And then the potential of all those sales, they do 300, 300, 300. The game is looking like it's going to be $1 billion game in the first, 3-4 months. That's almost Call of Duty type money. Yeah. You have got to be a stupid idiot if you run a company and you do not pursue this possibility. Gamers, get off of Twitter. Let us grow up. The game has changed a lot. If you think that, this is going to harm their brand by making $1 billion on a video game when Sony is there counting, 15 million copies over 6 months of an exclusive that's eventually going to die out and flat out, because the exclusive was even on their old platform. And this is God of War I'm referring to. Because everything else from here on is not going to touch the PS4 unless they feel that it's not safe enough. Right? The only reason God of War is at 15 million is because of the PS4. Once that generation seals off, PlayStation has to go ahead and adjust their business proposition. They do. You can't sit in the same place. They need to expand. And Xbox is already expanding way faster than they are, way faster than they can keep up. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is not something that, is easily, ignored or should be easily ignored because of feel goods. We want to look like, the fans have something. No, this has to be very, very heavily considered. Because that $1 billion, man, it does make up for 50 million consoles that you sold. You sold 30 million more consoles, right? How much you make from that compared to the almost $1 billion that a huge Bethesda title, a huge Activision title can make, even with the 30% fees? Yo, let's start talking business. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you guys so much. Peace out.